Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Talking Shit. We got the Ebola crisis in New York City. Special edition coverage, commentary reporting. Dr. Spencer apparently has brought Ebola home. He was here for about 5 days or so. And within that 21-day time period, this man I guess he within 5 days, he done been to the bowling alley called the Gutter. He went and got some food, and he did all this shit. He's walking around. He's on the subway. I've been in New York recently, the past several weeks. This is very serious. Dr. Spencer, you didn't feel nothing? Apparently, I guess he said he felt something, and then he was taking his temperature and doing self-monitoring. Man, you just got back from a country in Africa. You didn't have no business doing no self-monitoring. I don't want to accuse the person. I don't want to attack the man. But listen, Greg Spencer, doctor, when the first sign of any symbol of any augury of what was going on, you should have took your ass to the doctor. You're a doctor. They say doctors are the worst patients. He was doing some self-surveying, or he kept taking his temperature. But once he realized that he had a temperature in the first thing. Anyway, Mayor de Blasio this morning announcing that, if you have symptoms, please don't hesitate to call 911 or drive over to the hospital. Make sure you ain't just bullshitting. If it's just a regular flu, you know what you should do, and that's, of course, to get vaccinated. I've been vaccinated this year. I don't like necessarily doing it, but I did it anyway because of my diabetes and my disability. I'm sort of forced to do it because when I get sick, it really, it feels like fucking SARS. This goes to the importance of universal health care. See, this is why we need universal health care. This is why we need it. This is a precaution. This is a respect for the fact that we're fragile human beings. And in spite of being able to blow up people and get the bazookas and bomb everybody and everything, we can be sick and inflicted with basic diseases. I am not happy with the Center of Disease Control. I'm very proud of the officials in New York so far. They're on this shit like a lottery ticket, and they're taking care of things that really have to do with getting this stuff under control. They have a means of really dealing with this stuff. Apparently there was a man running around with a hatchet, and he attacked 4 police officers in New York taking a picture. Man, the shit in New York started when I left. My God, that's horrible. So this world, let me tell you something real quick. Samuel Jackson was saying earlier on the Twitter that, we don't need more gun control, really, because he grew up in an area where people had guns and they didn't shoot everybody. That's not the kind of area that I grew up in. Everybody wasn't getting shot, but some motherfuckers was. I personally do not wish to promote guns. I'm not going to get into the controversy of it. I know that some people really feel comfortable with the guns. People like guns. People say they raise their kids with guns. That little girl who shot that instructor earlier this year, she was being taught how to use the gun when she killed the man. Let me just say something about guns. The purpose of a gun is to shoot it. The purpose of a gun can be confused with certain ideas about the gun, but the overall mission of a gun is to be fired one way or another. And I just really want to emphasize that because I think we get in a false reality about guns. The purpose of a gun is to be shot. Now, what motives and what goes around that is totally up to whatever situation is taking place. But the overall purpose of a gun is to be fired at some point. And for people to be acting and treating it like that's not what's up, that's not the real purpose of it, just seems kind of dishonest and full of shit. But that's, I mean, if you're going to admit that that's what you're doing, even if it's target practice or like Dick Cheney when he shot his friend accidentally or whatever. But the overall purpose of a gun, in one way or another, is to eventually be fired as a weapon. And in some cases, a very vast domestic chaos. The thing with Michael Brown, and now they're saying that the policeman, there was blood inside the vehicle when Michael Brown's friend said that there was a altercation at the vehicle door, but the young man eventually got 100 feet away and was gunned down and murdered. And the Ferguson unrest is still going on, and I'm so grateful that those people are not acting as though it didn't happen. They don't want to forget it. Things repeat themselves. We don't want to forget the Holocaust. We don't want to forget that there was slavery. We don't want to forget that these Japanese citizens were in these internment camps out here in Los Angeles a couple of decades ago. We don't want to forget. We don't want to forget these inhumane things. The massacres and the beatings of gay people in the Bay Area several years ago. We don't want to forget. People want you to kind of forget. We don't need to relive it at all, but we don't need to forget it indefinitely. We don't need to forget these things. That's all the time we have for now. Join me again in an episode in studio of Talking Shit. Thank you.